Two letters, one word. I think it's pretty to guess by this point. How does this? Oh, no. No is one of the shortest words in English. Yet, why is it so hard to say sometimes? Why does it feel like it is stuck in our throat and will not come out? Easy answer. Fear. It is fear that is blocking us from saying it. Fear of being misunderstood, misjudged, upsetting some people. But what about yourself? When you stop yourself from communicating your true desires, you achieve nothing but hurting yourself. You know, a few years back, my school held a student council competition in which I wanted to participate and get the role. But so did my best friend. She came up to me and she asked me to take down my candidacy, which I did, because I had these annoying thoughts racing through my brain. What if she gets upset? What if she stops talking to me? What if I look selfish? I'm pretty sure a lot of you in this audience can relate to some kind of situation like this, where a person asks you to sacrifice yourself for them. And so you're faced with two choices, yes and no. If you're afraid and not thinking of the consequences of your actions on your future, you will probably pick yes. You will sacrifice, and thus sacrifice your personal autonomy. Today, I want to explore why saying no can be powerful, transformative, and deeply necessary, not just for ourselves, but for the communications and friendships that we hold dear. So first, let's answer a fundamental question and get to the root of the problem. Why is it so hard to say no? No is really hard to say because it is linked to negative emotions like fear, guilt, selfishness, and others. But why? Where does this come from? It actually comes from our childhood. From our childhood, we're taught to please, to be agreeable, to listen to our elders. Let's say, for example, you're sitting at lunch with your family. In front of you is a big bowl of hot soup that you absolutely hate. You stir it around, you try to make it seem like you made some progress. But here's the thing, your mom notices. Uh-oh. She says, stop playing with your food and eat. If you protest, if you say no, you might get punished with, for example, no candy for the rest of the week, or your gaming console being taken away. And although, as we grow up, we understand that there will be no direct punishment from people for us disagreeing, this subconscious fear still stays. Dr. Tamara Souls says that punishment of children can lead to fear in adulthood, affect communication and trust. If we're afraid to communicate our true desires, then how can we actually stay on track of our goals? But here's the thing. Here's the twist. Every single time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values, you're actually saying no to ourselves. I want to ask you in the audience, how many times in the past month have you agreed to some kind of events or requests out of obligation rather than desire? You might have noticed that these choices often lead to burnout and a sense of losing control over yourself and your own time. But listen to this, don't be ashamed, you're not alone. Actually, a study done by the American Societal Association showed that 77% of 51 respondents have accepted an invite to a party that they truly did not want to attend. Now, let's be real, do you think that they have enjoyed their time spent there? I would probably say no. The thing is, our time is very finite, and the way that we spend it is very important. So why even waste it on something that will not bring us closer to our goal? And then there's this guy. You might know him. This is Steve Jobs, for anyone who doesn't know. And he said this quote, "It's only by saying no that you can concentrate on things that are really important." Apple has succeeded not because they did everything, but because they did a few things exceptionally well. Saying no also models boundaries for your friends, family, and friends. It shows other people that it's okay to prioritize our own well-being over social expectations. By saying no, you're establishing your worth and making people around you respect you more and value your time more. And if someone does not agree with that, I don't think that's a person that you should keep in your circle, because why would you want to spend time with someone who does not want you to grow? Now that we have answered two important questions, why is it hard to say no? And why it is important to say no? How do we actually do it? First, I want to make all of you understand that saying no is not selfish. It's an act of self-respect. But how do we actually master it? The courage and clarity in no. I have narrowed it down to these 4 points. Reframe the narrative. Saying no is not a rejection. It's a redirection. Let's all remember our physics lessons in school and the law of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So by rejecting an opportunity, you're not wasting your energy. You're just redirecting it to fuel your other ambitions that in the end will bring this energy to you back. Start small. It can sometimes be hard to turn down a big party invite with all of your friends when you have some schoolwork to do. So, for example, the next time while you're working and your friend comes up to you and asks you to fetch them some water, say no. See how it feels. And please, do not get me wrong, you should not turn into a selfish person that only does what they want to do. You just need to be able to distinguish if the request is directly interfering with your path of progress. Third, be clear but kind. Saying no paired with a few words of gratitude or perhaps an alternative suggestion will always leave doors open for future opportunities. You should never want to come off as rude or cold. But if a person is being pushy, persistent, or even dangerous, please do not be afraid to show them a more clear no. Fourth, take your time. If you're not able to decide right away, you can always reply with, "I will get back to you shortly with an answer." This will give you time to weigh your pros and cons. And it's extremely important to do that if the opportunity that you have will directly impact your future and your life. And lastly, I would like to briefly touch on the concept of the yes behind every no. I found this quote recently by this guy, his name is Joel Young, which says, "For some reason, hearing somebody say yes to themselves is much less of an ego injury than saying them no to you, even though they're the same thing." So it's all about perspective, you know? It's like the way that you see it. Think about it of not rejecting someone, but actually saying yes to yourself and actually pushing yourself forward and allowing yourself to grow. So, ask yourself, the next time you're faced with a decision, what am I truly saying yes to? Are you actually saying yes to your peace, to your priorities? Are you saying yes to your ambitions? Saying no is not scary. It's not about shutting doors. It's about opening the right ones. Thank you.